Welcome back, it's Melanie, your She Shed Scrapper. So today I am back with a 2-page layout using a really old paper kit from Cricut, I believe. I think when my oldest turned 4, we had a Cars birthday party, and so I had this paper for that, and I almost put it in my get rid of pile here recently, but then remembered we were staying at Art of Animation at Disney and in a Cars themed room. So I got it out of my donation pile, and that is what I am using for this layout. So originally I had thought about just doing opposite corners of the 2-page layout using this paper here, and then using the middle piece for a strip across, and I don't know why I thought this was going to work, and maybe there was a maybe it would have. So if you guys have used that middle piece for a 2-page layout and it worked for you, please let me know. I was so bummed because I thought it was going to look so cool with the corners and then a strip up the middle of the 2-page layout. So because that didn't work, I decided then to cut both of the other corners and place the pattern paper on the corners there. I believe I know two pictures on page 2, and then I use flip flaps, so there might be 6 photos on page 1. If you have a young boy who loves cars, Art of Animation is your go-to resort. It was amazing. Like, they had life-size figures of the cars, and you just go up and take pictures with them, and it was just so fun to go explore the resort. That was one thing. My husband said you could stay at any resort we want because we're one and done, but the theming of Art of Animation is on point, and I would 100% with little kids go stay there again. It was just amazing. I wanted like an immersive Disney experience, I guess. If we were going one time, I wanted it, through and through, and the Art of Animation Resort definitely gave us that. So on page 1, there is going to be these 2 on the base, and then I'm going to end up using 2 flip flaps. So that is how I get 6 photos on page 1. I'm really trying to limit the amount of layouts, especially for Disney, that go in my son's albums. We took a big family trip back in, I think, 2018 to Gatlinburg, and I ended up doing 2 full albums for each child plus my own, and it was just too much. So I'm trying with this big trip to really limit what I scrap, I guess. So my plan is going to end up being probably 2-page layouts for the hotel, because the other part that we explored at the resort was Lion King, and there's just some really good photos from that, and so I want to document that. So there'll probably be 2-page layouts for the resort, and then my plan is for the boys just to do 1 2-page layout per park. Hopefully. That's the plan. It might change, and then just do the rest in its own album, instead of making 3 albums. So, anyways, going back to the layout, I used an older tire track stamp from Close to My Heart. My cousin actually owns it. And they had my cousin, my aunt, and my mom over for a craft day over Christmas break. So I asked her to bring that stamp over so that I could use it on this specific layout. And so I just kind of bordered that pattern paper with the tire track stamps there. I have a whole iris container of Disney, excuse me, embellishments papers, and so that Mickey ear, or half a Mickey ear, on page 2 that you see, that came out of a 6x8 paper pad a Simple Stories one, and I just fussy cut that just to bring in Disney and Mickey somewhere, I guess. And so I thought that was a great option and just simple. It was black. That worked out great. So now I decided I wanted something else down the middle. And so this was a scrap piece of paper from the same paper collection. And so I just cut it in half and I'm placing it just down the middle, which kind of stinks because I did already commit to my photo placement. So I did have to rip those up a little bit to get the paper underneath, but all was well and it worked out just fine. So now to embellish, I am going to go into my Disney stash and see what I can come up with. Lucky for me, the paper that I have has the reds, the yellows, the blacks, and that is exactly the color scheme in a lot of the Disney collections, whether it's Simple Stories or Echo Park. So I kind of just went off of that theme. I did need a title, and so I decided to go into my stash. I found this like red, white, and blue alpha, and that kind of blue there was the perfect, maybe not perfect match, but close enough to that like blue on the Cars paper. And so I decided to make my title Hotel Fun. You will see I do end up switching it a little bit. The nice thing with having friends and family over while you're scrapbooking is to get ideas from them. And so once I get that done, I am going to, I think I have maybe those photos in the flip flaps already because Mater was my favorite. I love Mater. So I knew I wanted that kind of front and center in the layout. I believe, yeah, that is, now I'm putting them into the flip flaps, but again, I wanted Mater in the front, the main focus, I guess. So once I do this, this is where she said, I can't see the fun. I didn't see that right away. And so I ended up moving that fun down onto the flip flap. So that will actually be on the outside of my page protector, which is the nice thing about flip flaps. I have embellished on top of them. I've embellished underneath of them. It is its own almost, I guess, photo protector. So it's that plastic, so you can easily embellish on it, and I just love those. So I will link those down below. I actually had to buy more 4x6 flip flaps because I have used them a couple of times this month already. So I decided to move that hotel over a little bit just to fill in that entire white space up there, and then did kind of feel like that was by itself a little bit. And so I am kind of searching through the embellishment pack to find something that I can add to the top that will kind of help it not just kind of feel alone or up by itself. So as I go through the embellishment pack, I kind of put together my embellishment cluster for the bottom left of page 2 there, and then decided to add again kind of underneath the flip flap, add another cluster there. That I feel like adding it underneath kind of makes you realize like something should be flipped up because you can't see the entire cluster, I guess. Looking at the layout now, I do think I wish I would have, and maybe I'll go change it, but that cluster on page 1, moved it to the other corner of the photos. Just with that cluster on the bottom of page 2, I felt like maybe it was a little too much there, especially because they're different heights. They're not like the same height across the page. So I don't know, maybe I'll go switch that up a little bit, but I did struggle embellishing the rest of this layout. I just wasn't sure what to add. Looking at it though, it is quite busy with the pattern papers and all of the photos. So when that happens, I feel like I don't need to maybe embellish as much or as large embellishment clusters. I tend to keep them a little bit smaller. So I did add a flare from Scrap and Happy Studio to the title at the top. And then I have a couple of acrylic pieces, an acrylic sticker sheet from Echo Park. And so I did add a couple of acrylic pieces to the top title. And then again, over by the Mickey on page 2, you can see those acrylic stars right there. So I don't think any of what I used is still available. Like I said, they're all older collections, but I hope you guys enjoyed this 2-page layout, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.